สวัสดีค่ะ Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. เผ่าภูมิโรจนสกุล Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you all to Thailand Focus 2025. My name is Kamonchonok Pukhayaporn and I will be your MC throughout the day. Thailand Focus is the largest annual investment conference in Thailand. This year marked the 90th of our flagship event of the Thai capital market under the theme Beyond the Challenge, turning obstacles into opportunities as we move beyond challenges and embrace what's ahead. This year, the Stock Exchange of Thailand, in collaboration with co-host DBS Vickers Securities Thailand, Kietnakin Pathara Securities, in partnership with Bank of America Securities and UBS Securities Thailand to organize this event. Thailand Focus is an exclusive platform for leading global and regional investors to gain knowledge about investment opportunities in Thailand. May I now invite President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Mr. Asadet Kongsiri, to deliver his welcome address.
Deputy Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Bangkok, slightly damp Bangkok, and the 19th Thailand Focus, our marquee event targeted to support our communication with international investors to the Thai capital market. I've been reflecting a few days on how best to welcome you to this event. It was almost 12 months ago exactly. I was in the audience listening to the same speech by the prior president of the stock exchange under the theme of adapting to a changing world. And looking back this past 12 months, there has been a lot of challenges. So whoever came up with the theme for this year, Beyond Challenges, has hit the nail on the head. We've had an earthquake, we've had wars in the Middle East. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this, but we've had 2 prime ministers here in Thailand. We've had a new president, and I don't mean myself, that has obviously caused some ripples around the world and uncertainties. And on top of that, we've seen climate events happening more and more often. We've had the border skirmishes here in Thailand as well. So there has been a lot of challenges around the world and to Thailand. So this agenda that we've set up today for you hopefully will showcase the resiliency of our economy. Dr. ผ่าภูมิ will talk to us about the policies that the government has been implementing. You'll hear from key persons from industries that have shown resiliency, have gone through the challenges that we've faced. This afternoon, for example, we have Thai Airways, Kunchai Imsiri, we call it the DD of Thai Airways here. I don't think any company's been through the same challenges as Thai Airways has, and how they've resurfaced, relisted on the Stock Exchange of Thailand stronger than ever. And also in the next 2 days, obviously there'll be one-on-one meetings with corporates, key corporates, large corporates in Thailand that our kind hosts have organized meetings for. I urge you not only to learn from what they've been doing, but to also challenge them on how to face these challenges. Give your perspectives, give your experience, give your thoughts to our corporates to see how they can grow, they can add value, and they can go beyond the challenges that we face today. So without further ado, let me invite Dr. เผ่าภูมิ โรจนสกุล Deputy Minister of Finance to deliver the keynote speech for today's event. Khop kun krap. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is my honor to address you today at the Thailand Focus 2025, Beyond the Challenges, hosted by the Stock Exchange of Thailand. The theme of this conference is Policy and Markets, Building Confidence in Thailand's Investment Climate, captures our intent to align policy with dynamic markets so that capital formation translates into durable and inclusive growth. I will begin with the global setting and then turn to Thailand's current momentums and revision, address our trade strategy and also investment inflows, and conclude with the capital market reforms, investor protection measures, and future agenda for long-term confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, our objective is clear and is straightforward. Provide predictability through data, timelines, and milestones, while sequencing reforms that cloud in private investment and broaden opportunity across regions and sectors. First, I will talk about the global context that we use to design our policy. Let me start with the global picture that frames the strategy. The world economy is expanding at a moderate pace, which places a premium on credibility, reforms, momentum, and market depth in every jurisdiction. Geopolitical conflicts continue to affect price and risk appetite. At the same time, signs of de-escalation suggest that pressures on trades and commodities could ease as stability improves. Technology is reorganizing value chain. Advances in artificial intelligence, automation, and digital services are compressing product cycles and directing investment to a capability-rich location. And Opening Thailand is determined to seize through a skilled infrastructure and facilitative regulation. Climate and resource risks have become core macro variables. We are preparing through the energy transition, water management, and resilient infrastructure so that the growth remains compatible with environment and long-term competitiveness. Next, turn to Thailand's momentum and revision. The Ministry of Finance projects this year GDP growth of 2.2 in 2025, an upward revision from its earlier forecast. Actually, we expect more than the 2.2. We will see upward revision again in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. That is what I hope. The adjustment reflects a stronger than expected momentum in the first half of the year, which has helped offsetting the drag from the tariff adjustment and ongoing geopolitical uncertainties. Thailand export in the first half of 2025 strengthened on the back of electronics and automotive supply chains, supported by diversified market success and improved logistic performance through key gateway and corridor. Tourism continued to normalize with higher spending per head, while the premium segment such as wellness, medicals, sports, and MICE are expanding and supporting services employment across the region. Our fundamentals remain sound. International reserves are ample. Inflation is a little low. Public debt remains within the prudential parameters, and the banking system is well capitalized. This backdrop provides policy room to respond without sacrificing discipline. Monetary conditions are easing. Tested our resolve, and Thailand respond with the Team Thailand approach that secure a 19% reciprocal tariff outcome with the United States. This is a positive result for Thailand. Given our trade term with the United States, it places us in a better position than many regional competitors. Preserve relative pricing power for our exporter and replace uncertainty with a stable, predictable baseline for supply chain and investment decisions across key industry. Our negotiation frameworks follow practical sequencing. We open the Thai market to products that Thailand cannot produce, which increase consumer choice and competition, and to the product that Thailand produce in insufficient quantity, where we implement a quota system that require domestic purchase first, and then sourcing from neighboring countries, and then from the United States. And for the products that Thailand produce sufficiently or in a surplus, imports will not be open immediately. This approach will give domestic producer time to adjust, invest in productivity, and lower production costs. We ensure fair competition in both price and quality through a detailed analysis of local and regional content. We are promoting two-way investment as a part of the balanced outcome. Thai firms are encouraged to invest in the United States in the areas such as agro-processing and energy procurement, including crude oil and natural gas, which strengthen supply security and deepen commercial supply. We are also tightening rules of origin, stepping up verification and coordinating enforcement to deter transshipment. We consider the interests of our other key partners and broader geopolitical context. Our objective is a stable trade architecture that supports diversified market, resilient supply chain, and sustained competitiveness for Thai industry. For investment momentum has been robust. In the first 6 months of 2025, investment promotion application reached 1.05 trillion baht across around 2,000 projects, the highest ever recorded. This is a strong signal for strong confidence in Thailand as a regional production and services base. FDI or foreign direct investment application accounted for a significant share with the strong participation from Singapore, Hong Kong, China, the United Kingdom, and Japan, which points to the diversified capital sources and deeper integration into global value chain. These approvals are set to translate into new jobs, higher local content, technology transfer, and increased export capacity. Data center and semiconductor-related investments will lift Thailand's digital capacity and support AI, clouds, Internet of Things industries. To convert this pipeline into production at a speed and scale, we are mobilizing targeted financial support so firms can execute without delay. About capital market. Our capital market agenda advanced across four pillars: demand, supply, rules, and technology, so that the system strengthens as a whole and the market confidence is earned through delivery than promises. The destination is clear. We are building a market that is deeper, fairer, faster, and more transparent, and better connected to regional and global flows, with safeguards that protect investor and accountabilities that raise standards over time. In an increasingly interconnected and dynamic world, a robust and trustworthy capital market serves as a fundamental pillar for business opportunities and contribute further to economic growth. First, demand in the capital market. Demand starts with widening long horizon participation, and mutual fund plays a key role as investment vehicle for retail investor by offering a blend of advantages that make investor accessible and effective. We believe substantial opportunities remain to expand retail demand through mutual fund investments. The Ministry of Finance has launched several initiatives that support long-term saving for individuals through a tax incentive mutual fund. Retirement Mutual Fund, or RMF, and the Thai ESG Fund are tailored for a long-term saving with tax deduction, benefits, and flexibility. We believe these tax incentive funds will remain a driving force in fostering domestic demand in the Thai capital market. Thai ESGX is a special ESG tax incentive fund designed to channel new money into Thai markets. With defined qualifications such as a 5-year minimum holdings and allocation to approve the Thai equities and fixed income, Thai ESGX aims to boost liquidity, support sustainability leaders, and broaden household participation with a clear investor protection. Next, about supply. The Thai capital market introduced innovative financial products that remain competitive with the global offerings, broaden investment options for market participants, and align with the prevailing global megatrend. Investor can trade, invest, and leverage exchange trade funds, the instruments that designed to deliver return both in the same direction and in the opposite directions of their benchmark index. Sustainable investing is one of the foremost global trends. The Thai capital market has responded by launching a wide range of ESG-focused products to broaden the choice for investors. Examples include ESG bonds, green bond, social bond, sustainable bond, and sustainable linked bond. ESG theme funds such as Thai ESG and Thai ESGX represent our efforts to foster fundraising for Thai companies that integrate sustainability into their operation. We are driving forward Thailand's capital market through a landmark supply-side initiatives such as Corporate Value Up and Jump Plus. On the SME side, we established the Live Exchange as another fundraising option in the capital market for SME and startups across all industries. This allows them to raise capital to build growth for their company with the goal of enabling them to eventually become listed on the main SET index. About rule and enforcement law, we have proposed amendments to the Security and Exchange Act and other related laws that govern the Thai capital market. Given the centrality of technology in modern markets, the amendments promote the adoption of digital processes in the capital market, particularly in the issuance and transactions of electronic security. The reform aims to integrate digital processes across the entire security life cycle, including issuance, legal recognition, supervision, collateralization, and settlement, to improve operational efficiency and enhance competitiveness in the digital economy. Fourth, about technology and market integrity. The Stock Exchange of Thailand's modernization program includes the technology partnership with NASDAQ that elevates the trading engines and surveillance stacks to the international standards. Thailand is committed to comprehensive surveillance of inappropriate trading behavior. This commitment includes more monitoring of high-frequency trading patterns and enhanced transparencies and controls around short selling. Next, I will talk about our future agenda in the technology in the capital market and in the bond market. We have just launched a new campaign or a new mechanism, a new payment system. We call this a tourist DigiPay. This program will serve as an optional and regulated payment rails with the allows foreign visitors to convert eligible digital assets into baht for spending through a licensed e-money providers. It brings a new foreign exchange directly to Thai shops and small businesses, improve payments convenience, and support traceability and tax compliance. We also introduced G-token, which refers to the regulated investments token issued under the digital asset frameworks. Properly designed G-token enable fractionalized participation in approved projects, lower distribution costs, and broaden investor access through tokenization. This opens an additional channel for funding public interest and private projects. Complementing these digital rails, the Thailand Financial Hub ambition, we will have a whole new set of legislation to attract banks, asset managers, insurers, and market operators to base regional operation in Bangkok. Cross-border funds connectivity, mutual recognition where feasible, and payment and settlement system will deepen ASEAN financial integration and position Thailand as a natural gateway for regional capital flows. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, our Thailand task is clear. We must translate a stronger than expected first half performance into sustained momentum. Reinforce credibility through a law and infrastructure, and widen participation so that growth is both inclusive and investable. We will deliver this agenda with discipline and transparency. Our success depends on partnership, government, independent regulators, enterprises, financial institutions, and investors each have a distinct role. When policy and market move in alignment, confidence compounds, capital mobilizes, and innovation scales. Let us commit here and now to finance the next decades of Thai prosperity with policies that are credible, markets that are trusted, and opportunities that are open to all. Thank you, everyone.
We wish to express our profound gratitude to Dr. Paupum for the keynote address. May I ask Dr. Paupum to kindly remain on the stage for photo session. And I would also like to invite the following executive to be on the stage. Chairman of the Board of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Professor Kittipong Urapi Pattanapong. Secretary General Thailand Board of Investment, Mr. Narit Thirsathien-sak. Secretary General the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Pon Anong Butsaratragoon. President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Mr. Atsadet Khongsiri. Chairman of Association of Securities Company, Mr. Pichet Sithi Amnoi. Chief Executive Officer of DBS Vickers Securities Thailand, Mr. Sukit Jarat Chaiwanna. Chief Executive Officer Kiet Nakin Pathara Securities, Mr. Aphinan Kleopatinon. Vice Chairman Investment Bank Southeast Asia and Country Head Thailand UBS Securities Thailand, Mr. Pornchai Prasert Sinthana. And Managing Director and Chief Country Officer Bank of America, Ms. On Kanya Pibuntham. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marked the golden milestone of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, our 50th anniversary, as we celebrate 5 decades of progress, resilience, and innovation. We reaffirm our mission to make the capital market work for everyone. At Thailand Focus, we continue to strengthen global partnerships and look beyond the challenges towards the opportunity ahead. We extend our gratitude to DBS Vickers Securities Thailand, Kiet Nakin Pathara Securities, in partnership with Bank of America Securities and UBS Securities Thailand, our co-hosts, for their invaluable contributions. May I ask all the executives to remain on the stage, and I would also like to extend an invitation to these distinguished speakers to join us on the stage. Chief Executive Officer Jaran Pokapan Group, Mr. Supachai Jeravanon. President Huawei Technologies Thailand, Dr. Chawapon Jariya Virod. Secretary General Government Pension Fund, Mr. Songpon Chiwa Panyarod. And Chairman Association of Investment Management Companies, Mrs. Chavinda Han Ratanakun. And for those who cannot attend in person, the seminar is currently live on said platform and the recording video will be accessible later. Ladies and gentlemen, each year Thailand Focus has the privilege of hosting distinguished speakers who share their perspective to highlight the country's potential and investment opportunities. This year's program is especially remarkable, with over 26 eminent speakers providing valuable insight throughout the day. The agenda is enriched with up-to-date knowledge and practical information from leaders across government, capital markets, and the private sectors, ensuring participants gain perspective from those who truly understand the landscape. Thank you very much for the photo session. Ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming session will feature key insights from the Thai capital market regulators alongside international perspective on the topic Thailand's competitiveness and investment outlook. Together, we will explore the opportunities, strengthen and pathway that will shape Thailand's role in the global economy. We are honored to have Secretary General Thailand Board of Investment, Mr. Narit Thersathiansak, Chief Executive Officer Charan Pokapan Group, Mr. Supachai Jerawanon, and President Huawei Technologies Thailand, Dr. Chawapon Jariya Virod, Chief Economist Kietnakin Patara, Financial Group Dr. Pipat Leung Nalamichai will be our moderator for this session. So the first panel discussion aimed to offer a comprehensive view of Thailand's investment landscape, beginning with perspective from the Thai Board of Investment and enriched by insight from the two leading global players. Together, they will provide a balanced dialogue between policy direction and private sector experience. The conversation will also reflect on global dynamics that may influence Thailand's competitiveness before moving toward forward-looking strategies on how the country can go beyond the challenges and strengthen its position as an attractive destination for investment. As we wait for our panelists to get ready, let us take a moment to reflect on why this discussion is particularly significant at this time. Okay. The upcoming session, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite the speaker. We will explore the opportunity to strengthen. For this session, we are honored to have Secretary General Thailand Board of Investment, Mr. Narit Thersathiansak, Chief Executive Officer Charan Pokapan Group, Mr. Supachai Jerawanon, President Huawei Technologies Thailand, Dr. Chawapon Jariya Virod, Chief Economist Kietnakin Patara, Financial Group, Dr. Pipat Leung Nalamichai will be our moderator for this session. So ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite all the speakers and moderator on the stage, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's first session of the day of the Thailand Focus 2025. And the first panel is titled Thailand's Competitiveness and Investment Outlook. So I guess we are honored to have our distinguished panelists with us today, which I think doesn't need any introduction. But I guess we can just go straight into our discussion this morning because we have quite a short period of time to discuss. We will be discussing three key issues this morning. Number one, what makes Thailand competitive? I think in our panelists' view, what the strength of Thailand. Secondly, I think the trade tariff issue, I think is an important one, and investors are interested to hear how that would impact Thailand's situation in terms of competitiveness and how the attractiveness of Thailand. And last, we will be discuss issue about what Thailand must take and the steps that we have to take to strengthen our competitiveness going forward. So let me go to the first round discussion to frame our discussion. Let us start with the fundamentals. We know that Thailand facing a lot of challenges, both fundamental and cyclical. But we just want to discuss about the issue of what makes Thailand competitive. So I guess let me start with Khun Narit, Secretary General of the BOI. What are the Thailand key strengths? What make Thailand competitive? What are the attractiveness that would make Thailand competitive compared to our peers in the region?
Thank you, Dr. Pipat. To give a clear picture of the competitive advantage of Thailand, let me begin with the recent trend of the investment in Thailand. This chart shows the investment growth over the past decade. Last year, we reached a 10-year high with the investment application more than 1 trillion baht, or $34 billion, 35% increase from the year 2023. And for the foreign direct investment, the orange line also increased by 25%. And this momentum continued in the first half of this year with the investment application over $32 billion and 139% increase from the same period of last year. These figures reflect the strong trust and confidence that investors have placed in Thailand. And the top 5 foreign direct investors in Thailand include Singapore, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Japan. And in terms of the sector, the electronics, digital, and automotive continue to be the main driver of the investment in Thailand. And this slide shows the competitive advantage of Thailand amid the global challenges and uncertainty. I believe that Thailand will be the right destination for the investor who are looking for the place which has strong foundation, resilient, and cost-effective. We offer a well-developed infrastructure, including deep sea port, international airport, and we have more than 70 industrial estates across the country. And we also have a well-developed digital infrastructure and top-tier data center. Kun Supachai from True Corporation and Kun Chawapon from Huawei may elaborate more on the data center business in Thailand. And in terms of the market access, we have 17 FTA with 24 countries. And Thai government is now accelerating the negotiation with key partners like EU and Canada and Korea. And we are also one of the members of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, which is the largest trading bloc in the world. For the supply chain, we offer a robust supply chain, especially for the automotive, electronics, and chemical, which is a good foundation for new industry like EV, semiconductor, and advanced electronics. And regarding the investment ecosystem, green energy is our strength that is unique to Thailand. We are launching the new mechanism to provide clean energy to the business, such as the UGT, or Utility Green Tariff, which will enable business to buy clean energy from existing and new sources, bundled with renewable energy certificate. And we also offer direct PPA. The government allocate 2,000 megawatt for data center business. Direct PPA will allow large-scale energy user to contract directly with the renewable producers through the state grid. And for talent, Thailand produce at least 100,000 STEM graduates per year. And the BOI is also collaborating with the Ministry of Higher Education to implement special program to develop talent for new industries like semiconductor, EV, and AI technology. Regarding the support from the government, we provide our full support for the investor, especially for the BOI. We grant tax and non-tax incentive, as well as financial incentive through the Competitiveness Fund. And we also focus on the ease of doing business. One of the good examples is the establishment of Thailand Investment and Expat Service Center, which just opened in March this year at One Bangkok building. This center will combine one-stop service for visa and work permit, and also one-stop service for investment consultation. And the BOI also implement the long-term resident visa, which will offer 10-year visa with digital work permit to 4 target groups, including the wealthy pensioner, wealthy global citizen, and high-skilled professional, and also the work from Thailand professional. So, apart from the factors that I just mentioned, Thailand is also ranked the best country to start a business by US News. And in terms of the investor sentiment, we are ranked the first in ASEAN and 10 in the world for FDI Confidence Index by Kearney. And for SDG, we are ranked the first in ASEAN for Sustainable Development Goal Index. That means we are ready to go green. And also, Thailand is continue to be one of the most livable nations in the world. We are ranked the 6th in the world for best expat destination. So these are our competitive advantage and the reason why many multinational enterprises have chosen Thailand as their second home. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me ask a follow-up question. You talk about the competitiveness, the attractiveness of Thailand, but what are being cited as the key challenges by the investor when they wanted to come to Thailand? There must be some challenges.
As we moving towards the technology-based industry, the talent is a key. So one of the major concerns of the investor is the talent development in Thailand. This is why we are focusing on talent development program by partnering with the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Higher Education. Okay. We focus both vocational and engineering level.
Okay, great. Thank you, Khun Narit. Thank you for setting the stage and lay out the investment outlook. Let us hear from the perspective of the private sector. Let me turn Kun Supachai. As a Thailand largest investor, how do you see the local investment environment of Thailand compared to other countries? And do you agree with Kun Narit on the strength of Thailand?
Yes. Thank you. From the CP Group perspectives, I think we continue to invest in all of our core business units. Each have not lowered its investment. And this, again, is not by policies, but by looking at the growth opportunities. So each of the BUs, for example, through corporation, continue to invest roughly around $1 billion a year, US dollars. Retail business, such as CP Extra, also close to $1 billion. CPR, also close to $1 billion, including the CPF. Is continue to invest in Thailand and definitely abroad. I think certainly Thailand have a strong fundamental, and as Kun Narit have mentioned, we have seen through our own eyes that for example, the data center investment have been moving into Thailand, and Thailand have geographical suitabilities. Including all the incentive and the openness for the investments. So I believe Thailand will be, another very important hub for ASEAN and for Asia regions for the data center. This is a strong foundation for the AI-driven economy going forward. Not only that, but we also have seen through the context of the investment, such as industrial estates, from different countries, especially from China, for example. Thailand also have been, or more or less, almost number one destination for industrial estate manufacturing investment for China in ASEAN regions. I think, again, this is due to a lot of foundations and very fundamental strength that Dr. Narit have just mentioned just now. Is included all the incentive, the openness, the culture, the deliverables of Thailand. So a lot of infrastructure in Thailand also are among the top. For example, such as the telecom infrastructure will continue to evolve as a strong infrastructure. I think if you look at Thailand, it's almost like we have the Thailand that are more developed, like Bangkok and EECs. And we see that the engine EECs, which used to be mostly petrochemical, now evolve into real manufacturing of the new industry and data centers. So this again is really a good news for Thailand. It's really happening. If you look at a ship that's going to go the distance, then you're looking at what we are investing today and what our fuel putting into what area of the industry. And I think we have the right investment in the right area, especially for this transformation period. But not only that, Thailand have a very good geographical I would say locations that have high potential. So if you're gonna pick a real estate, for example, that is gonna appreciate through times. Thailand is where we should pick because it's just the right location and the right infrastructure and now the right foundations. Now people start talking about, let's say, the talents and how we be able to reskill our people. But I think what Dr. Narit have just mentioned now is the ease of, for example, the long-term visa, the ease of working in Thailand, the ease of doing business in Thailand, or the incentive to actually invest in Thailand, and including, I'm not sure, but including, for example, if the Thailand start to come up with the policies of 99 years foreign or ownership of the land, for example. Thailand is a really livable place. Even for myself, I travel around the world. So if we open up more, we can actually attract a lot of investment, but not only that, the key is a lot of talents to work and do business in Thailand. So I think this is also one very core strength, which I think the government, the agents like VOI are working upon. So I'm quite confident that Thailand have the right foundations, and the continuing investment in infrastructure per annum continue to be consistent and increasing in terms of the government spending, in terms of overall investment in Thailand, be it public, private, including foreign investment, continue to grow steadily up. I think we are seeing situations where Thailand is transforming itself among all these really a lot of changes and challenges, including all these geopolitics and issues. So with all that noise, with all that fog, it's almost like a plane is traveling through a cloudy conditions. But I think we are on the right track. It's just a bit cloudy, that's all.
Great, thank you, Kap. Then with that, let us turn to Kun Chawapon, the president of Huawei Technologies. Right? Huawei has chosen Thailand as one of the major investment hub. What were the decision factors? What make Huawei choose to invest in Thailand?
Well, that's a lot to like, for Thailand. I mean, from Huawei's perspective, this is the 28th years that we have been in Thailand. And I think Huawei recognized early on the potentials of the market. If you looked at it, Kun Supachai and Kun Narit has mentioned, a few things. Well, first of all, geographically, we are ideally situated. So in order for us to build ourselves to be a technological hubs, in order to support, starting from the regional and, moving along into the global, technology hubs, which would be supporting the other industry, private or public, because if you looked at the demand for technology has been super strong over the past few years, and because we are looking at the abilities of private and public sectors, in order for us to be competitive. And all of these digital technologies play a major role in supporting. Kun Supachai mentioned AI data centers. Kun Narit mentioned a lot of government initiatives in order to help support this growth. So from Huawei perspective, the demand for modernization and transformation has been super strong, and that happened across industry, financial services, manufacturing, wellness, and healthcare. I really love the slide that Kun Supachai used, right? So basically, those are basically the six, hubs that, and you can see that all of that required super strong stacks of technology to support. So from demand perspective, this is perfect, for a company like Huawei. And the other thing is we have a bunch of government initiatives and policies, which to me, that's one of the major strengths. We have like the EEC, initiatives early on. We have the Thailand 4.0s. We have the Cloud First policies coming out. So all of these policies has demonstrated, that the country is actually set its sights on the right directions. And all of this represent a lot of opportunities for a company like us. And however, we believe that there's rooms, for businesses and improvement. Kun Narit and Kun Supachai also mentioned the same thing, that the potential gaps in terms of skills and in terms of the readiness of the modernized digital infrastructures. So those are the area. But for a company like Huawei, when we recognize, the potential in the countries, and then together with the long-term, relationship among, China and Thailand, trace back, if you looked at any situation or, any critical situation that has happened over the course of the history, the relationship between the two countries remains strong. And Huawei has been believing in growing the businesses in the country and at the same time also contribute to the country as well. So I think these are, areas where we believe that, it makes Huawei committed very early on. We are one of the first countries outside of China that, we chose to have a long-term investment. So the first time we came into the country, we are a fully registered company, meaning that all of our revenue, basically, we are a fully registered Thai company governed by, Thai laws.
Great, thank you, Kap. Then let us turn to the second question, because the issue of interest to many investors is how Thailand is going to be impacted by this new tariff round that I think the Deputy Finance Minister has mentioned as well. There's a lot of issue apart from the 19% reciprocal tariff that we're going to be getting. There's an issue about the transshipment, how the panelists see the impact of those issues on the trade and investment flows into Thailand. So let me start with Kunarit again. What's the perspective of BOI? How do you see the impact of those factors into the investment into Thailand?
I believe the trade war and tech war that we are facing is a long-term game. I think that under President Trump administration, the negotiation and the readjustment of the tariff can happen anytime. So our approach is not just manage short-term situation, but to ensure the long-term sustainability and resilience. Since the tariff rate of the ASEAN country are quite similar, around 19 to 20%. So the differentiating factors will be the economic foundation and what each country has to offer. For Thailand, we offer many elements that will benefit the investor, including the well-developed infrastructure, both fiscal and digital, and also robust supply chain, high-quality workforce, and the readiness in terms of energy and clean energy. And we also offer cost-effective manufacturing base. So this has made Thailand stand out as the regional hub of the industry development in the future. For transshipment tariff is under negotiation. We still waiting for the details and definition what it is considered as transshipment. But please be assured that the Thailand working team led by Deputy Prime Minister Pichai will do our best to make the best deal with the US government, which will also benefit the investor in Thailand.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kap. But I think there are measures in terms of like getting this industry to be ready, right? Because there are a lot of industries, manufacturing industry in Thailand that have low regional value-added content that could be affected by the transshipment tariff.
This is also our opportunity to strengthen the localization. We will also focus on the supply chain development to increase the local content rate in Thailand.
So let me turn to Kun Supachai as well. I think apart from one of the key element of the trade negotiation that we heard is we affect how the agricultural sector would be affected by this negotiation. You as one of the key player in this industry, what's your view on that, and what would be the impact onto Thailand's agricultural sector?
Well, certainly because we are in the feed mill and in the poultry. The tariff implications on the U.S. import have less impact because it's more on the raw materials, such as the corn, wheat, all these raw materials that could be imported from the U.S. From Thailand, we usually import it mostly from like South America and some from the East Europe. So now shifting more toward the US, actually the costs are still very competitive. This actually probably even be able to lower the cost of the raw materials in our case. Our first estimate is actually quite positive. But there are also the impacts such as those who grow soybeans in Thailand, those who grow corn in Thailand. So those sectors, we have to probably take care of them to help them also transform the plantations into the higher values area. I think Thailand is very big in the rice, for example, especially homely rice, jasmine rice. It never actually catch up with the demand. But we need more technology, we need more management, industrializations of such plantations. For example, in the fruits plantations, I think Thailand is very big in the fruits plantation. It's growing every year. Just China market alone is already take up the whole demand for the country. So a lot of those we need to plant it down. So there are some impact, give and take. But overall, I think we should take this as an opportunity because, for example, the U.S. would take the export from Thailand as something which is not just a rubber stamp kind of manufacturing, say from China. So to develop further supply chain development in Thailand, using this, again, the policies, we have to work with the US and work with China, for example, or other investments from foreign investment in Thailand, and how the Thai SMEs could be incentivized to join this supply chain, the new supply chain, and adjust themselves, from the traditional manufacturing. I think this is also a very important time as part of the Thai industry transformations. Dealing with this, the geopolitics and the US tariff policies. So I think this is really a change for the good, but we have to take some impact one way or the other. But for me, I think right now, if you look at how the US applied the tariff, it's actually across all countries, including competing countries to Thailand. So therefore, it's turned out that I think Thailand will still be able to maintain its competitiveness, even though with this tariff of, say, 19%.
And let me turn to Kun Chawapon, I guess, in the context of this supply chain diversification and I think global trade reconfiguration, what do you see as the biggest opportunity and the most pressing risk for Thailand? And as a global firm like Huawei, what's the strategic adjustment needed to adjust to these changes?
Right. So when disruption happens, it's definitely to represent challenges. But, to Kun Naresh and Kun Supachai, again, it's hard to be the third person answering this question because, both of them are also talking about opportunities. I certainly agree because, from our own perspective, throughout our history as well, there's always been a lot of challenges. And we always take it as the opportunities to, improve upon ourselves. I think this also represents the opportunities for businesses and the countries, and also including the public sectors as well. It's the opportunity for us to start diversifying, our portfolios, beyond just manufacturing. I mean, we've heard conversation about like moving, up the value chains, but at the same time, again, there's so many other verticals that we have a lot of strength as a country. Like for example, agriculturals, Kun Suchai talk about like tables. So all these cultures, tourism, a lot of these are, a lot of things. We have a lot of tools. We have a lot of, charms, a lot of things, differentiations already. The challenge is how we take these opportunities to modernize it, to be more effective, to be more efficient, and at the same time, how do we bring in, technologies to help us achieve that? One of the key challenges is how do we also create a strong local ecosystems and take that local ecosystem along with us as well. So this is why the way we are seeing these challenges is that it provide urgency to the business and a lot of public sectors to relook at what has been done, and then what make them to be more decisive in taking the next steps. And from our own perspective, every time there's major challenges, we always go back to the roots of two things. The first one is R&D, meaning that Huawei is a company that heavily invested in R&D every year. On average, we spend 20 to 25% of the revenue back to R&D, which is really, really high proportions. And we heard Kunarit mentions about a lot of other areas like green energies. Kun Suprichai talk about AI data centers. All of these data centers consume tremendous amount of power. So, and that's also represent when one challenges appears, then you have the opportunities for some areas, and then when you have that opportunities for data centers, you also have opportunities for green energies. So, and all of these required major investment back into the technologies. But at the same time, we also believe in basically local ecosystems, and that's the area where it would help address the skill gaps of the countries. And we have been playing major roles over the past 5 years. We have already trained 100,000 professionals in the IT industries. To me, that's an area of focus that's provide technology transfer and the ability to retain the skills and also the knowledge base in order for us to be able to build something which is sustainable in the long run, and that it allow us to to be at a point where we could be technologically or competitively independent.
Thank you, Let's come to the last round of questions. I guess we have 6 minutes left. Try to put this through. The big question is then, amidst the global uncertainty, all these challenges, both externally and domestically that we have, what should Thailand do next to maintain and strengthen our competitiveness? So I guess let me start with Kunarit again. What's the key policy changes the BOI and the government have in the pipeline in order to strengthen our competitiveness?
We prepare many measures to mitigate the impact of the U.S. tariff and also the global challenges. For example, we have the smart and sustainable industry measure to support the existing investor to adapt themselves by upgrading their production facility, replace machinery, or using automation, digital and AI technology to improve the efficiency. And we also launched the new measure to promote the localization, especially for the electric vehicle and electrical appliances, by giving additional incentive for the company that can achieve certain percentage of the local content. And we also support this initiative through many activities, such as the annually subcontracting and business matching event like Subcon Thailand, and we also partner with many companies to organize sourcing day to promote the linkage between foreign investor and local supply chain. So I believe this measure will help the investor in Thailand to adapt and stay competitive amid the global challenges.
ขอบคุณครับ And Kun Suprichai, what are the key changes on the top of your priority that you want to see Thailand should do to maintain our competitiveness?
I think, how can Thailand adjust itself to become a hub for talents? How can we attract talents as much as we can to come to Thailand, to live, to work, to do business? And then we have to make it ourselves most competitive to attract the investments following the talent. So I think these have to come together. So if we can, whatever we can do to encourage more talents into Thailand. That's very important. It will also help upskill, reskilling the local talents. This is a shortcut. And Thailand is the place where we can deploy all these, again, talents and capitals to the region. So that kind of transformation, we need a lot of leadership and focus from the government. So I hope that, again, the political stabilities would also be in place soon. And including the conflict between Thai and Cambodia. So I think that part, because we are Thai, we know that we have some conflict here and there with our neighbors, but it's not going to blow up. I think it's something which we can handle going forward. Second is we know that we are situated in the really geo locations and geopolitical location that are very essential, even within the ASEAN and also even between the superpower like China and US. So how we make ourselves value to ASEAN, value to China, value to US. That's very important. Or you could say that in some part we have to stay neutral, but most of all to make ourselves valuable. And a big part of that is going to be talking about the connectivity, talking about the logistic and connectivity. When we talk about logistic, definitely we're talking about the connecting China, Thailand, Malaysia, even including Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and this mainland part of ASEAN, and definitely toward the rest of the ASEAN. So I think if we can do that kind of infrastructure, be it the transportation and logistic, be it the regulation related. If we focus, I think Thailand will create a lot of values for itself and for all the trade partners, including the US. I think we have to still continue to reach our potential in certain area, not only tourism but in the agricultural area, right? So Thailand is a nation that rich of the food, agriculture, but it wasn't able to totally transform itself, and still 40% or more population depend on the agricultural industry. So if we can transform the agriculture industry through the corporation or the co-op structure successfully, taking a journey of 3 years, 5 years, it will enhance a lot of values for the country. Last but not least is in the tech area and also in the renewable energy. It's kind of go together. So digital transformation, I think we are in the right momentum. We need to make sure that we are really moving toward the green economy and become a leading country in the green economy. And we have that potential. We have to work toward all those kind of requirements and expectation also from the foreign investment partners.
That's quite a long list of things that we need to do, particularly on the politics. Let me turn to Khun Cherapon. As a foreign investor, as part of a foreign company as well, what do you see in terms of the issue that Thailand has to improve in terms of to improve the competitiveness?
I think it's an opportunity for us to position ourselves as the platform where global supply, regional trades, and digital innovation intersect. And to me, we talked about, the abilities to move and progress. Manufacturing won't be the same type of manufacturing we have been doing, all along. Wellness and healthcare represent a lot of opportunities, but that is not going to be the same wellness and healthcare, that we have seen. Agricultural, and the other areas. So to me, these, requires a lot of underlying, platform and technologies to support it. Under, a couple of major topics where we need to discuss and make it happen includes, the sovereign cloud, sovereign data centers. So all of, and also data platforms. We talked about AIs, how it play major roles in creating competitive advantage. But at the same time, we also need to look at, the other sides of how, we could leverage all of these, the power of this data, but it wouldn't be the data that we, were familiar with 30, 40 years ago. This is a type of new in-depth data that, if it's possessed by the right hand, it would be a tremendous asset. But at the same time, the power of this data needs to be harnessed, needs to be, secured and managed. That's the area where, it would be driving the requirement for sovereign data centers, sovereign cloud, sovereign data platforms. And finally, the areas of green energy. You talked about the world of digitals, AIs. All of these, it consumes, a lot of powers. So that is the one areas where we have had a lot of initiatives from the government in terms of the green energy, in terms of solars and also EVs. So you'll be expecting to see, all of these technologies that, playing larger and larger roles, exponentially within this year.
Thank you, Kap. And thank you for our distinguished panelists for the insight. I think today's key takeaway is quite important. And number one, Taiwan remain competitiveness as witnessed by the flow of interest of the investment coming into the countries. Number two, I think the global risk is real, but I think manageable. And if we take it as an opportunity, we can actually leverage up on that. And I think number three, there are a few key challenges that we discussed. I think the issue about the talent pool, talent development, and all other issues spring up. And there are a long list of things that we need to do to maintain and strengthen competitiveness. So I think please give a big round of applause to our panelists, and thank you for your insight today.
Thank you so much for the insightful session. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our first panel discussion on Thailand competitiveness and investment outlook. Over the past 45 minutes, we have heard valuable insights from our panelists on how Thailand is navigating a rapidly changing global landscape. We have learned about the critical role played by the government, policy, private sector innovation, and international collaboration in shaping Thailand's position as a regional economic hub. Our speaker also highlighted Thailand's strategic advantages from its location at the heart of the region to its strong industrial base and growing consumer market, as well as the challenge we must address to strengthen our competitiveness on the global stage. Once again, we would like to express our deepest appreciation to our distinguished speakers and moderator, and we hope the insights from this session have sparked new ideas, encouraged fresh perspective, and open up for the opportunity for future collaboration between investor, policymaker, and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marked the golden milestone of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, our 50th anniversary, as we celebrate 5 decades of progress and resilience and innovation. We also reaffirm our mission to make the capital market work for everyone. Over the 5 decades, Thailand capital market has evolved from its early beginning into a dynamic platform that connects businesses, investors, and opportunities through innovation and collaboration. The Stock Exchange of Thailand continues to play a central role in driving economic growth, enhancing market transparency, and building investor confidence. And for the next session on reforming the market, capital market at an inflection point. At this critical juncture, the discussion will focus on two essential aspects that shape the strength and resilience of our market: liquidity and building trust. We have Secretary General of the Office of Securities and Exchange Commission Thailand, Dr. Porn Anong Busaratragoon. President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Mr. Asadet Kongsiri. Chairman Association of Investment Management Company, Mrs. Chawinda Hanratanakul, and Secretary General Government Pension Fund, Mr. Songpon Chiwapanyarod, with Executive Director and Head of Thailand Research, UBS Securities, Mr. Alex Manunpon will moderate this session. So ladies and gentlemen, please invite the speakers and moderator on the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. My name is Alex from UBS Securities, and it's my great honor to welcome this distinguished panel where we'll have an in-depth discussion on the evolving landscape of Thailand's capital markets. So to begin, I think the title of this panel, really Reforming the Market, Capital Markets at an Inflection, is really fitting, because it really sets the stage for the overall theme of this conference, which is beyond the challenges. We have the key decision makers of the capital markets here with us to better understand the key objectives to ensure fairness and transparency in the market. So to begin, I think I'd like to first touch on a bit on liquidity. There's been an ongoing battle for relevance among different markets to attract liquidity. If we look at Thailand, it was once the leader in terms of liquidity in Southeast Asia at 46% market share. That number has come down to slightly around 23% as of July 2025. So at the same time, initiatives like the Vayupak Fund have played a notable role in revitalizing interest in the market. So my first question I'll direct to Kun Asadet. Could you share with us any initiatives that you're currently pursuing to improve liquidity as well as to attract a diverse range of domestic and international investors?
Thank you, Kun Alex. I'm not sure if the word battle is the right, it seems very aggressive, but we have friendly competition with our fellow exchanges in the region. And you mentioned liquidity. I think liquidity is important, we know. But the way, at least I'm looking at approaching this, is in the medium to long term, how do we attract new capital into the market is the most important thing. Liquidity will follow. If the new capital comes in, and therefore, if you extend how to attract new capital or additional capital into the market, it comes back to the fundamentals of demand and supply. To make capital inflows or be attracting capital inflows, we have to have attractive supply. On that front, we're looking at both the existing supply, so existing companies within our exchange, how do we push them, how do we encourage them to communicate more with investors, to showcase the potential. So part of that plan that we're implementing right now is called the Jump Plus project. It's basically the Value Up, similar to a Value Up project in Japan or in Korea, where we're encouraging and helping companies communicate their plans in the near future, and how do we get those messages out to the market. And then in more towards the medium and longer term, we obviously need new economies, new types of products that can attract new capital as well. So we're looking at revising or at least adjusting to see how our current market platforms can attract new economies, support startups, SMEs in terms of being able to reach capital, raise capital to enlarge their businesses going forward. And obviously on the supply side, I think I'll leave it to Dr. Pornanong to mention more, but one of the initiatives that the SEC has kindly take the lead on is the individual savings account program. So again, similar to what we've seen, we're learning from other markets, like in Japan. How do we attract or create additional supply within the country itself? So these initiatives are things that we're discussing closely with our partners, with Kunchawinda from the AIMC, with the SEC and other players and stakeholders within the Thai capital market to help each other grow the market itself.
Thank you for that. And understand all this would not be possible without input, obviously, from the regulator. So maybe you can share some insights, Dr. Pornanong, on how we can actually enable and attract more liquidity.
Thank you, Alex, and thank to Kun Asade to invite me to be here. I think to enhance the quality flow of the liquidity into our market, I also believe, as Kun Dr. Paupum said earlier, that we have to cultivate both supply and demand side of the market. When we're talking about the quality supply, it is characterized by strong fundamental and good governance. Let me share some recent measures that we try to maintain the quality supply in our market. First, we uplift the backdoor criteria and also the resume trading criteria in order to align the same standard that apply to IPO. This is to make sure that our listed firm, all of them are at the same level of scrutiny and governance. The second one, a lot of people mentioned about what we launched last year and followed by Jump Plus created by Stock Exchange of Thailand this year. This plan encourages our listed firm to demonstrate and communicate their value creation plan, growth strategy, enhance governance, and also reinforce the ESG practice. I think these companies who join both value up plan and also the Jump Plus created by Stock Exchange, they commit to investors that they are not only resilient just today, but they are well prepared for the future. So last but not least, we try to, we require our listed firm to prepare the MD&A, not only in the annual report, but also in the interim report. This makes our investors receive frequent information regarding performance, strategy, and also risks, not just once a year. So I think all of these are the things that we have been done. But moving forward, we are streamlining our IPO process, especially regarding COI and also the primary listing. This one aims to have greater transparency in information while preserving necessary safeguards that protects investors. We also embedded the ESG practice into the DNA of our listed firm by aligning our disclosure to the international standard, ISSB. This is not just only to attract responsible investors, but I think it's also increase global visibility of our Thai listed firm to international investors. I may touch a little bit on the demand side, which we focus on the quality of demand side by fostering the participation of the investors. We try to turn Thailand saving into long-term investment. A lot of people says about the Value Park Fund and also the ESG last year. This year we have launched the ESG Acts. These funds are designed to increase the longer term of retail investors by promoting the good practice of our issuers in the market. We still continue to turn the saving into long-term investment by broadening the role of the institutional investors in our capital market. So I will pass on this to our next speakers who may touch about what we have been discussed a lot for the near future about the individual investment account or how we're going to broaden the institutional investor roles into our capital market.
That's great to hear that there's a lot of initiatives. It's very active and it's working in close collaboration, obviously, with the SET as well as the investor side, representative from the AMC, Kun Chawinda. So perhaps, Kun Chawinda, maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. Value Park Fund updates, what have you been working together with the regulator? We'd love to hear your views on how that works to bring liquidity back to our market.
Thank you for the invitation. Before we touch upon the Value Park Fund, I'd like to summarize what the key factor or the key critical problem that we have faced. And actually, so many factors, but just want to drill down only two. The first one, I believe everyone knows, the product itself is less compelling. If you compare to other market and our investors have more opportunity to invest offshore. So they're searching for what they call high growth potential, not only for the traditional asset, but also the digital asset as well. I'm not blaming on the stock exchange or anyone. I think we still have a promising product for our investor and really qualified one, but the interest of investor kind of shifting. This is the first one. The second one is very critical for us. We see for these past 3 years, we've been very suffer or struggle with the corporate governance. And I think not only for Thai people, but also the foreign investor have experienced and undermined their confidence in the market. For these two reasons, the government realized that Value Park has been revived and for the two purposes. One is to support or promote the saving and also try to stabilize the capital market. And this one is not a new structure, but it has been launched back 20 years ago and with the same purpose when the market is very fragile. And we see the response of the Value Park since we has been promoted in the market before and after. Before we see the market respond positively. I think during the August last year, until Value Park has been launched and market kind of moving up again until we face another problem. I believe that is pretty much focused on the corporate governance again. So the market seems to be kind of show the weakness for our investor. Until this year, we have faced not only the internal factor, but also external factor, that very crucial one. But I want to touch upon only internal factor, which is the liquidity from LTF that we have been struggle. LTF this year, with the size of $6 billion US, the investor have a chance or can be liquidated the total amount starting from this year onward. So the government saw that problem and tried to structure what we call Thai SGX to support in terms of to stop bleeding of LTF and also promote, like Dr. said about the encourage the new money into the market. The results seem to be okay, but not that as we expected. This true structure that has been implemented by the government, I think for myself is a quick win solution. But in terms of our institutional investor perspective, we believe that we need a long-term solution. And the long-term solution that has been discussed internally, one, we have two solutions to propose. One is what we call mandatory provident fund. This one is good because if we look at other markets, particularly for the developed market, I think the role of institutional investors play very significantly. Even our neighboring country, the portion of institutional investors pretty significant. And but in Thailand is vice versa. It's different in other way around. So if we can introduce this model into the market, we see four impact to the market. One is stabilize the stock market. Second is we will see the less volatility of the market. The third one is quite important because we never have mandatory provident fund offered to our investor. And what we see is we have like 22 million people of Thailand in labor force, but only 3 million that been provided this structure for them. And that is a security for long term for Thai people. That's what we want to see. The most important part is for the mandatory provident fund, we will see sustainable, steady inflow of fund on yearly basis that could be stabilize the market as a whole. This is one of the key solutions that we want to see. The second one, as Dr. Pano mentioned, we have discussed about the model that has been applied in Japan, particular, what we call investment individual saving account. I think this quite a simple one, but powerful in our sense, because this one will be a structure that will go through one single platform that consolidate all the capital product into one. And the investor can choose what the product that they want to invest, not only for the mutual fund, but can go to the single stocks and also other thing else that will be identified in the future. So if the investor can choose, what we will see in the long-term wise is we will encourage investors to make themselves as a long-term investor. This one is quite interesting because if it can apply for the market, we will see the investor can match their needs between the product and their risk appetite. So this kind of two key solutions that might be able to solve our Thai capital market for the long term. Yes.
Thank you for that insight. I thought it's very interesting, the mandatory provident fund. It may sound simple, but it is something that we take away from investing, just saving for today, but investing for the future. So it's a great initiative. My next question, I would like to direct to Kun Songpon. Basically, we've seen in other markets, like for instance, Malaysia, right? Government-linked corporations actually bringing back equity allocation into their own domestic market. Just curious to hear your views on how the government pension fund looks at allocation. Is there potential to actually reallocate a bit more into the domestic equity market? So we'd love to hear your views on that.
Thank you so much. I would love to give you a little bit of background. Currently, we have 1.2 million members, and at the moment, we manage about $45 billion funds. If we look back, government pension fund has been developing the SAA, also called the strategic asset allocation. From the past until now, we invest about 40% for so-called the growth asset and 60% in fixed income. So what happened is we are in the process of modifying our SAA, and we believe that the growth asset would be more allocated from our end. So roughly about from 40% to 50 or 60% in some of the selection that we provide to our member. It's very interesting that we are medium to long term kind of investor, and our member has a choice of 21 asset classes that they can choose from when they invest with us. So definitely the SET, the stock exchange in Thailand, is one of the options that our members select from. At the moment, we see there are a number of supports from SEC and SET. A lot of voice has been heard, and a lot of things has been changed based on the regulation and the market practices, which give us better confidence in terms of invest more domestically. And what happened for us since last year, we had added more portion from the government pension fund side. Instead of looking at the SET as the market benchmark, we look at the free float under the SET. And also we select by looking at the stock individually. And we still believe that the investment in those companies still a good investment. If you look back a little bit more, Thailand is one of the market that is not available for just the public market, but also the private market. And we hope and we do planning that we would invest more and hope that we can be part of the incubating partner for putting the company into the market to be listed in the future. So I still believe if you look at Thailand, Thailand is a good platform to test, to try, and a lot of population to springboard to do as well. However, we are still monitoring the development on all factors. For example, we look forward for more medium to long-term type of investor rather than short-term trading type of investor. And we do hope that all the action that SET and SEC that are working together would work out very soon. And we believe that so. Thank you.
Great. It's great to hear such great initiatives on working to bring back that liquidity. But I think first and foremost, beginning with investing in any market trust and confidence is of the utmost, it's most critical. So for example, I mean, to start at the beginning of the year, the big concern had been on margin loans, right? That actually dragged quite a bit on investor sentiment and definitely some of the investors that I speak to as well. So I think it goes without saying there, maybe we can start with the SEC and Dr. Ponano. Are there any upcoming regulation changes that you want to elaborate on that can help boost investor confidence and create, again, I reiterate, fairness amongst all investor types?
Okay, I'm sure that for this question should start with the SEC, not SET, but later on you're going to hear from Kun Asadet about how we handle with trading mechanism to get fairer trading mechanism for all types of investors. But let me begin with a bigger picture, because I think that to maintain the effective market, we need not only the good governance, but we also need strong surveillance and also the strong enforcement. At the SEC level, at the SEC Thailand, we are committed to ensure that our supervisory and also enforcement are both efficient and also forward-looking. Over the years, we are strengthening the corporate governance of our listed companies because we believe that good governance is not just about compliance. It is about how we're going to equip board members and also the management with the tools to safeguard against the misconduct or wrongdoing in the company. So that's why we try to enhance the internal control system, ensuring greater transparency and also reinforcing accountability at the core of the system. We believe that by doing everything at the three lines of defense can help management, board members do their job to protect investors. At the same time, we believe that we have to strengthen the oversight of the gatekeepers. For example, we're talking about the financial advisor, we're also talking about the auditors. I may give some example that what we do is that we try to make sure that the audit work are assessed, monitored, and continuously improved. We use tools such as audit quality indicators to review their work. Moving forward, we are pursuing legal amendment to extend our power of enforcement. This reform will increase our ability to take direct action to stronger enforcement, especially gatekeeper, for example, auditors, audit firm. So this is the thing that we are waiting for the final laws. But anyway, you may ask about what we do under our ability or our power right now. I hope that investor can see the speedy of our work, especially during the last 2 years. We try to tighten our supervisory and also investigation process by using digital tools and also collaborating more with other agencies such as SET. So we try to reduce unnecessary delays. I hope that you may see the result out of that. Moving forward, we try to leveling up ourselves about subtech capability. So I believe that by advancing AI technology, data analytics may give us the transformation of our enforcement to be proactive prevention, that speedy our detection of or against the wrongdoing in our market. So that are the things that I can share for this round first. And then I will pass to Kun Asadet about things that we work together to give the fairness, to increase fairness to all type of investors in our capital market, especially for retail investors and also the international investor, because we have to align with the international standard anyway. Please.
Kun Asadet, I'd love to hear you.
Might as well go ahead, right? Look, and thank you, Dr. Pondong. I think we've been working very hard together to try and improve our communication to begin with, so that we can help us, as Dr. Pondong said, speed up enforcement as best as possible using technology and so on. So that's a key factor that we're helping as best we can using the information that we have, the tools that we have. But I think for the audience in this room, I would admit that looking back sort of maybe 18 months, there has been a lot of changes within the market mechanisms that we put in place. It's difficult to use the word regulation, but I guess for the stock market, it's more like a code of conduct, or the limitations that we put in place, or the tools that we trigger, like dynamic price bands or minimum resting times and so on. We recognize and we hear from investors that there's probably been too many changes. There's been too many implementations of these, let's call it code of conducts or tools that, and we recognize that investors prefer certainty and consistency in terms of regulation. So I'm not sure if any of you heard sort of 2 or 3 months ago when we sort of implemented or approved the last type of mechanism in place. limitations on HFTs and so on. We made a commitment at that time, and the board of directors of the SET made a commitment at that time that at least for the remainder of this year and through early next year, we will not make any more changes to regulations to give certainty and consistency in terms of the mechanism of the market. But to be on the flip side as well, at least as I've learned this past 12 months, is our role as a central platform or infrastructure for the capital market. It's a balancing act as well. We have many different stakeholders that have different types of interests. Our security firm members have different types of clients that they service, and their clients as well have different views of the market of what the mechanism should be. So it's a balancing act that we need to continue to evolve or develop. But the ultimate goal that we're looking to do is to make the market as efficient as possible, make the cost of transactions as low as possible for all our stakeholders, and to have sufficient information, fair and sufficient information for all our investors, both locally and internationally.
Thank you, Kun Asade. It's very good to hear that there will be no regulation changes currently.
No major ones anyway. Yes.
No major ones. So I'd like to ask Kun Shawinda, as the representative of the asset management companies for Thailand, right? What would you like to see in terms of protecting investor interest, and what would give you more confidence in the market as a representative for all these firms?
I think this one is quite a crucial one for our institutional investor. What we want to see is preventive measure together with the strong deterrence. And as an institutional investor, this is a quite critical one, and particularly for ourselves, we focus on ESG issue. It has been years that we form what we call ESG Collective Action Committee to monitor all the listed company has labeled ESG. And surprisingly, that last year, we found that 13 cases has been addressed. It's a lot. And we don't want to see that anymore because it takes time for us to consider each case. And surprisingly, that 80% out of that related to corporate governance. And that did undermine investor confidence for sure. What we see, the good side is the listed company who has been exposed to this issue try to step in and try to explain to the committee what's happening to the issue that they have, altogether with the solution that they will take care in the future. I think that's very good start for our industry. Our industry foresee ourselves that normally we are passive investor, but at the current situation, we have to play more active role. And it's very, very active because we kind of represent retail investors, so we have to take more active role. And the process that we have been taking care is improving over the period. So that was what we see. And actually we have some kind of suggestion. I don't know whether it's possible or not possible. I have to ask Dr. Porn Anong as well. Because what we see is, the point is, we see the kind of slow in the action, what we have seen in the market. My proposal, would that be possible that regulatory power has been consolidated in a certain area into one platform that every regulator can share information? Because I want the fragmentation of the market to be reduced. And if we can do that, probably we can do some kind of preventive action into the market. And like all stakeholders can have some kind of early warning for ourselves. particularly for the legal issue and also the financial issue as well. So this one, if that's possible, that could make the market more secure in terms of not Thai investor but foreign investor as well. The second one probably will be related to the party that involve the information that they provide for investor in using the information for investment decision. I think this one is quite important. We want to see a quality paper. We want to see a intricate paper that make us understand and make decision precisely. If preventive measure cannot be full effect to this, probably we need some kind of strong penalty for them in the future in order to upgrade the awareness for this party. Lastly, what we have been discussed, and I think is on the shelf to clear and to make sure that the SEC has been empowered in the future to make all the cases shorten. That's good. That's the thing that we are manage at the moment, and I think it will be short while that we will see the SEC can move the illegal enforcement faster in the capital market. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that. And maybe if I can shift the question to Kun Songpon as well. From the perspective, I mean, you're the key representative of government pension money, which is people's livelihoods. It's quite important. And you talk a lot about potentially shifting some of the allocation to the domestic market. So what would you like to see in terms of confidence for you to invest back into the domestic equity market?
Thank you. I think in general, there are many things that we've been discussed together with SEC and SET. And I think as an investor, we want something that is more stable. We want enforcement. We want liquidity. And also we look for not only the SET and SEC, but I think all the stakeholders in this market has to work together, including company listed and as well investor that invest in this market. So in general, there are many things that have been working well together, and as I can mention that during the past 1-2 years, there are many efforts that SET and SEC are working very closely together to make things happen. So we want to monitor those, and we would continue to educate our members as well, because at the moment there are a lot more of our members who save only as they require by law. So our member at the moment they can save 3% of their salary as a mandatory, but they can save up to another 27% as an option. So in that case, we see a lot of our members start to save more. And based on the new initiatives from SET, SEC, and also the government itself, last year we can offer the Value Park Fund for our member as well. And we only have very small window to offer to our member, and we see our member very interested, and they got an allotment from our side, and they are very happy at the moment based on the Value Park Fund's performance. Thank you for the management of the government as well. So I believe that there are many things that all the stakeholders have to work together. So I encourage that we should do more like focus group and look on the highlight items that we should work together. But so far we are happy with the speed that both SEC and SET are working together. And as we said, we are reviewing our asset allocation and more growth, and would be more on domestic as well. Thank you.
Yes, I think I have to respond quickly, even though I try to do my job as quick as I can. But anyway, to meet the high expectation, maybe I have to move quicker, So let me answer your question, Kun Shuvinda. I think we still have some gap to make improvement. But anyway, if you think about only one single platform to oversight or to do the enforcement role in the capital market, I don't think that it is a good idea because we still need the check and balance. I mean, we still have to oversight the SET. But anyway, as Kun Songpon said, we can see the value of collaboration among agency, not only the SET and SEC, and also all the professional in the capital market, via the FEDCO meeting, or even though we do not have the regular meeting every day. But I think we can communicate clearly about the direction that we're going to move our capital market into more integrity, into more efficiency, something like that. But let me talking a little bit about the SEC role, because we have two roles. One is to oversight or to enforce the misconduct or wrongdoing. But we also have another important role, is to develop or use us as the enabling mechanism to strengthen our capital market. So to launch the ValuePact or to launch the ESG, this is the initiatives from the SEC, because we would like to focus turning the long-term saving into investment. And we would like to hear or see more active institutional investors, because I think to maintain the integrity of the market, we have three legs. The first one, of course, is the company itself, right? So we have to enhance the corporate governance of the company. Second, we need the market force mechanism, which requires the active roles of the institutional investors. And lastly, we need the discipline from the regulatory reform. But I don't think that only one leg, only the things that are from the SEC gonna maintain the integrity of the market in the long term. So I think to close my views, I think you will see that more collaboration and also more certainty in the market. And I hope that all of these efforts would like to maintain the competitiveness of the capital market and also the integrity of the market. So this is a thing that I would like to mention about your question, and also would like to support Kun Songpon about the collaboration among us and also the other agencies such as the Central Bank.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paranong. I wish we could continue the conversation longer, but they're telling me to go. So I'd like to thank all for this very insightful session. I think the key takeaway I got from this is that there's close collaboration, there's activity. We will continue to push forward for fairness amongst all investor types. So I thank you all for your insightful comments, and thank you again for this honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for a very fruitful session. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our second session on reforming the capital market at an inflection point. Over the past 45 minutes, our distinguished panelists have shared valuable insight into the critical reform needed to strengthen Thailand capital market at this pivotal moment. We explore two key dimensions: liquidity, ensuring our market remain efficient, vibrant, and attractive to both domestic and international investors, and also trust enhancing investor confidence through transparency, good governance, and effective regulatory framework. We also heard diverse perspective on how regulator, listed company can work together to achieve sustainable growth and also ensure Thailand capital market remain resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next session, our next section, Household Debt and Financial Vulnerability, addresses one of the Thailand's most critical and long-standing challenges, household debt, an issue that continue to weigh on financial stability, economic growth, and household resilience. We have Deputy Governor, Financial Institution Stability, Bank of Thailand, Dr. Rung Malikamat, Chief Executive Officer, National Credit Bureau, Dr. Laksamon Attapit, Chief Executive Officer, Krung Thai Bank and Chairman, the Thai Bankers Association, Mr. Payong Sivanit, and Chief Executive Officer, Bangkok Commercial Asset Management, Dr. Warakit Pokathorn. In this session, Ms. Peach Pattara Wanakul, Executive Director, UBS Securities Thailand, will be our moderator for this session. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming all the panelists and moderator on the stage.
Okay, thank you for the kind introduction. Hello, I'm Peach, and I'm delighted to moderate this important discussion on household debt in Thailand. Today, our experts will help us unpack structural challenges behind this issue, assess its impact on the economy, and explore potential solutions. To begin, let's take a step back and look at the broader context of the household debt in Thailand. Can you provide some background on the Thai household debt situation? What are structural issues that have elevated the level of debt to 90% of GDP? Which segments of the household debt are the most and least vulnerable? And do you expect the trend to improve or the trend? I would like to invite Dr. Rung to start us off.
Thank you. Thank you, Khun Peach. All those questions would have to be answered in 3 hours and not 2 minutes, but I'll try anyhow. The nature of Thailand's household debt, I think, is that we start seeing household first jobbers accumulating debt at a younger age, and we also see retirees still having debt after retirement. And another important aspect is that debt in Thailand tends to be debt that are consumption-based rather than debt for business. So those are the key nature why we tend to be a little more worried about household debt, the high level of household debt. And we also see, I think we have done some researches, and we have seen things like 38% of the Thai population having household debt in the formal sector. That number average around roughly 500,000 per person. But of course, when you think about the informal sector, that number can be significantly higher. And we probably don't know how much it is. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, we see first jobbers have, and by that I mean people in the age group of, let's say, 22 to 29, in their 20s. About half of them already have debt, and about 1/4 of that are starting to have trouble. These are signs that reflect things Khun Peach was asking about, structural problems in Thailand. First of all, financial literacy. There could be people who don't know how to manage their debt or estimate their income vis-a-vis their ability to pay. There are gaps also in terms of information, transparency, things that we provide to debtors. That's why the Bank of Thailand in recent years, we have stepped up in terms of transparency, in terms of data provision to customers. There are also other things like slow growth of our economy. In part, I think we have to admit that we have a large headwind, which is the demographics. Okay, our demography is not favorable in terms of for growth. However, I think there's still a lot of opportunity around, and especially when we have delayed our upgrade of the structural economy. So that's why we probably need a new investment cycle, and we need to seek new growth engines, and that is another important reason why. So when income sort of recovers slowly, especially after COVID, that has sort of made the debt burden higher than expected for a lot of households. Another one is insufficient social safety nets. A lot of times we find that if the breadwinner of the family becomes ill, loses job, the family may have to resort to informal debt. And that informal debt, loan sharks, is a vicious cycle. And I think going forward, and you probably will hear from some of us, that the initiative to bring those into formal sector lending is something we would like to explore going forward. But that requires what I'm going to highlight here as another another obstacle for us in tackling household debt problem is the lack of data. And because of the lack of data, people get pushed out into the informal sector, and for those who get to lend, who get to borrow in the formal sector, the analysis of their credit worthiness is of course still not good, as Kun Payong probably can share with us a little later. So I think these are the fundamental problems that underlie why it's sort of a difficult task, a challenging task for us to deal with the household debt problem in Thailand. But I think it also means a lot of things to do and a lot of opportunity for business as well. But I'll wait for that later.
Thank you, Dr. Rung. So then Kun Laxmon from the National Credit Bureau database, could you please share some insight for the situation? Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Peach, and hello everybody. So we are National Credit Bureau. Basically, we are credit information agency. So what we have is data. So let me elaborate a little bit further from what Dr. Rung just mentioned about household debt situation in Thailand. Right, so let's have a look at data. Oops, okay. Right, this is from the database of National Credit Bureau at the end of June this year, so basically the end of second quarter of this year. The household debt data that we have constitutes around 80% of household debt data in Thailand. This is formal sector, not informal debt though. But I think this is a good indicator of what is happening, what is going on at the moment. So if you look at the graph, you can see that the outstanding of household debt at the moment in our database is around 13.5 trillion Thai baht. Well, that's a huge number, of course. But what is interesting is the way the graph is going. We have been seeing rise in household debt for quite a while. But at the moment, as you can notice, it's kind of plateau, right? So what's next is the question. And does it mean that household debt is reducing? Does it mean that the problem is going away? I'm sure everybody can answer that. Probably not. Now, let's have a look at the table on the left-hand side. According to our database, the largest amount of outstanding household debt in Thailand is on housing loan. Well, to me, that is still okay. It's housing loan, right? The second largest, though, is personal loan. And to me, it is a bit worrying, but we have to hear from others how they feel as well. And then auto loan. So that's the outstanding, the amount. But if we look at the percentage change, we can see that auto loan is actually not growing, is contracting. We can see that personal loan still on the rise. We can see that loan for agriculture is actually occupational, is professional, it's economy. It's not growing, it's contracting. Another interesting part of this table you can see is nano finance, but don't be alarmed. That's because we just received new member. They just contribute to our database. That's why nano finance shot up. But even without that particular member, we can see the trend of nano finance going up as well. So I would like to draw our attention to nano finance and personal finance that tell us a lot about what is going on in household debt at the moment. I'm not showing the account number, but I'm going to tell you here that if we look at the account, it's growing a lot as well. Whereas we see the plateau on the amount, but number of accounts still growing. So people are still borrowing, but they are able to borrow at a smaller amount each time. That's our analysis. Then let's have a look at debt quality. So according to our database, if we look at the number of accounts, we can see that NPL is around 10.4%. Well, our definition of NPL is that the debt overdue 90 days and over. For the amount, is around 9%. If we look at the amount of NPL in the system at the moment, we can see that it's trending up, not so steep, but trending up. Whereas special mention, not 90 days, it's trending down, but it's a cycle. If you look at the yellow line, you can see that it's a cycle. So it's coming down at the moment. If you look at it, you can predict what's going to happen next. And if we look in the details of debt quality, we can see that the majority of NPL is in personal loan. Again, to me, this is alarming. Auto loan is a big problem as well. I have been talking to several auto loan companies, and they are worrying, and they said their business is not growing at the moment. If we look at the percentage change, we can see that NPL is growing. To me, it's a worry in housing loan. Don't people want to protect their housing loan with their life? But we see the rise in NPL of housing loan. What does it mean? So I think we should hear further, more details, more analysis from the industry, from Kun Payong. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, Kun Payong.
First of all, good morning, and thank you for inviting me to join the forum today. Just to add on the points of the household debt situation, the household debt is the layer that I would say overlay on top of the basic economic foundation of the country. So if you step back and look at the economic foundation of the country, it is interesting that we have almost among the highest informal economy as part of our overall economy, 48%. And this is the data from the World Bank. And if you look at, as a result of the 48% informal economy foundation, we see 53% is informal labor. You look at 68 million of population, only 11 million filed the income tax, and only 4 million paid the income tax. And you can work back that 69 million require welfare support from the government. Then you look at the SME, which is only 28% in the formal part of the economy. So this is how the structure of the basic economy of the country is based on. And that will provide the ability to create debt on top of it. So if you look back, the consequence of having this structural foundation. Is that the first one is the big part of the population will have lower income. Then you talk about the high degree of inequality. Then you're talking about the substandard governance. Then you talk about productivity issue and the resilience to deal with the shock is limited. And as such, it's not as sustainable as it should be. So that's the foundation. Then you look at another data. The economy, the GDP number, is driven by the large conglomerate. Only 1% of the firms in Thailand contributed 65% of GDP. What does that mean? When you look back into the SME, SME contributed 30% of GDP, and yet it employs 70% of the employment. So that is the foundation of the economy. Then we touch upon a lot of financial inclusion, whether the household debt is properly available, appropriately available to all Thais, to all household. Then we have, if you look at every engine in the economy, the total of financial institutions equivalent, we have over 3,000, right? You count from proper commercial banks, non-bank, co-ops, we talk about credit union, pawn shop, over 3,000. Do we have enough competition based on this structure, right? The number explains itself. Then if you look at the current situation of the household debt, right, you see, and this is the data from Dr. Jip, the NCB, we look at the NPL, which is the lower part. The NPL happen to be heavily concentrated in the area of job status, the young generation, particularly in the car loan and also the personal loan. If you look at on the right-hand side, the age population, once they get into the retiring age, then they incur more and more household debt and also more and more NPL, and they have to depend upon beyond banking and financial institution system to survive. And what does that mean, right? If you look at the next page, we talk about 90% of household debt, right? 89%, 91%, it depends. It's around there. We don't have a reliable data to size the informal debt of Thai economy. So we decided to, Krung Thai Bank have worked with School of Economics of Chulalongkorn University to do a formal research. And the number that we find, the net informal debt, is about 14%, right? And if you look at the deeper level, then if you look at the gross number, you see 13%, right, is having the debtor status as well as the creditor status in the informal debt side. What does that mean? It shows that there is a certain part of the economy or the last mile that the formal financial system cannot reach out. It is about the last mile issue, right? So when you touch upon that, it explains the foundation of the household debt. On the other hand, if we believe these reflect the foundation, appropriately reflect the foundation of Thai economy, then we should know how to fix it, right? And if you look at this arena, we have huge opportunity to fix it, and it can't be a better moment than the current situation.
Thank you, Ka. And lastly, Dr. Rat, could you please share your view? Thanks.
Actually, the household debt and also the landscape of all the debt in Thailand is not that easy, but I still see the hope. But we cannot use the measurement that we used 25 years ago when we addressed the Tom Yam Kung economic crisis. This is the landscape that I try to give you the flavor of how the AMC can handle the debtors. If you look the debtors as the patient and the AMC is the doctor, you can see that right now we have around 2 trillion debt in terms of the amount. But when you look closely, 40% is the household debt. So if we can stretch the capacity of the hospital, the AMC in Thailand, we have around 86 members, but 86 members, we have to handle the 2 trillion debtors. 1 trillion is the NPLs, and another 1 trillion is the special mention. But if we look closely, we have the capacity to cure the patients per year around 100 billion in terms of the amount of the NPL. So we have to take another 7 to 10 years to address all the debtors. But if we enhance the capacity of the hospital, all the 86 hospitals altogether, we can handle another 100 billion a year. So it takes around 4 to 5 years to get things done. But in real life, everything is not so static. It's very dynamic. So we need the light at the end of the tunnel. So right now, if we try to transform all the NPLs, all the debtors, and then we can get the cure for them. The cure that I mentioned, we call reperforming loans. So we give them the chance to become normal again in terms of the banking landscape, and they can do the normal business operation, including the individuals, and that is the solution that all the 86 AMC right now try to get the solution and propose to the central bank, and also we had a discussion with NCB. So right now, I think we can see the amount of the big picture. We have 2 trillion as the starting point, but if we can work together and then we can do more, whether you can call the national AMC or the existing AMC, we can find a solution to the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rax. Next, let's now turn to the potential solutions. What measures could be effective in reducing household debt level back to the pre-COVID level? Maybe Dr. Rung, could you please start us off?
Thank you, Kun Peach. Well, first of all, in response to Dr. Rak, who wants to expand the capacity of hospitals, yes, we have heard you, and we are probably accommodative in terms of expanding the capacity of hospitals mentioned. But beside that, I think in order to tackle the issue of household debt, we need to do both the shorter term issue to at least, sort of go through this soft patch of the economy and make sure it's sustainable. And then we also need a longer term solution, which is address the structural issues that we talked about earlier. So in the short run, I think monetary policy stance would be accommodative, but that in part is not just about the key policy issue. It's also about transmission into bank rates, which of late we have seen more transmission, but it also means reducing credit risks that have been worrying the industry and lenders. And to do that, I think we need a solution that is also longer term in the sense that, lenders are not going to lend unless they see light at the end of the tunnel as well for each of the industry that we feel might be adjusting after the US tariffs and, supply chain adjustments and things like that. So I think we're working with the industry. We're working with TBA. We're working with Kokoro. I'm not sure what they're called in English, but the Thai chambers and things like that to seek longer-term plan and to have a structural upgrade that is more tangible for each sector, and also couple with that transformation loans, and perhaps in addition to that, credit guarantee and other things that would assist the weaker firms in the industry so that they have a chance to survive. So I think, and also in the shorter term, we have already issued a number of financial measures to relieve the debt burden of targeted groups. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but I think I'm going to highlight things that are of the longer term. I think for the longer term, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot grow out of this unless we have higher income. From Dr. Dr. Laksamon's graph, you could see debt leveling off. But that leveling off reflects also the debt to GDP level that has been coming down. But I think I would have liked it better if debt to GDP has come down because of higher income rather than deleveraging. And also another point I would like to make is that if we can bring people from the informal sector into the formal sector, that number might not reduce, but it means a healthier household debt to GDP in total. So don't be just sort of like too focused on the numbers per se, but make sure that we look into the greater detail and the dimensions of that household debt also. So I have been talking about bringing people from the informal sector into the formal sector. So what we have done, I think, first of all, we have initiated plans for an ecosystem that would allow the use of data. So we have initiated the project that some of you might have already known, like open banking kind of that. We call our version Your Data project, so that customers own the data, they can send data around. That is still in the formal sector. However, we would like to enlarge that into the informal sector in the sense that we have asked the government to contribute a number of data sources like utility usage and things like that. So this is to pitch into the untapped market. So I think that that's part of the key issue, the key initiative we have been doing. Of course, we have also introduced new players into the banking industry, virtual banks. They're banks, but I think what we expect them to do is to pitch into markets like the untapped, the underserved. Kun Payong did apply for it also. So you can ask him also what he plans to do, but we expect them to invest heavily in data analytics capability, in data usage, and to also bring in the underserved. On top of that, I think we are also exploring, I would have to say, perhaps opening up a sandbox, a regulatory sandbox, to bring underserved borrowers into the formal system. And of course, with that, I say a sandbox because some regulations probably will have to be adjusted. And the central bank is looking into ways that perhaps we could do that, work with a closed environment first, but see what would be proper. And we would have measures to see what that we can actually bring those in the informal sector into the formal sector.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rung. So moving on to Kun Laksmon, how can credit bureau contribute to improve household debt, and is it feasible to change the NCB participation from voluntary to a compulsory basis?
Thank you, Kun Peach. Well, first of all, NCB Credit Bureau, as people know us, we are a data company. So basically, we provide facts and figures facts and figures to lenders, to consumers, to policymakers. And these facts and figures contribute to financial health of people, to risk management of financial institutions, and inform policy decision of regulator and policymakers. That is the first thing that we can contribute to help. Then how best can we do that? Again, data. But if we look at the problem of household debt in Thailand at the moment, I would say the underlying problem is income, as Dr. Rung mentioned, and also structural of the economy, and that's something we have to work on. We were just coming out of the wood from COVID-19, and then came pockets of wars, then came geopolitics, geoeconomics. So under this circumstance, I would like to ask everyone to redefine risk management and financial health. You know, I have been talking to colleagues in many other countries during the few months, and all over the world, people are thinking about new way to look at risk management, because at the moment it's not about trying to prevent NPL, but it's about the business is not growing. It's about how we can identify pockets of potential here and there so that we can lend hands to those people. And in turn, how we can help improve financial health of people in the society. I wonder if our data can help. I think so, and I would like to do so. And I think to look at household debt, we need to put a longer term lens on. That is very important. Well, NCB, I think we have been doing a decent job on risk management, on early warning, but there are rooms that we can help more. What about we can do early warnings and some alerts for financial institutions and also for consumers on fraud, for example, because through our data we can detect some abnormal pattern as well. So this is something I would like to explore and contribute more. And I also ask myself how we can better help enhance financial health of Thai people, which in the end enhance prosperity of the whole economy. That is something we think about a lot. And to have comprehensive data can help. So to your question about voluntary or compulsory, in an ideal world, of course, I would like to have all the data that we can have so that we can better analyze, we can better make tools to help people. But the law in Thailand is not allowed at the moment. We also have to think very carefully as well, I think, because having more data is good, but we should not compromise the quality of data coming in. And we can certainly not compromise data security of the people. So this is something that we pay much attention on as well. And in the world today, there are many other sources of data. As Dr. Rung mentioned about the Your Data project of the Bank of Thailand. In other countries, people are using a lot of data to manage risks as well. There are other alternative data that we can use. On the one hand, this data can help manage risks. On the other hand, as I always mention, this data can help improve access to finance, help financial inclusion, and go towards prosperity of the nation. NCB would like to be able to use that data to provide better service to financial sectors, to consumers in Thailand as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ka. Next, Kun Payong, could you please share how banking association could contribute to reduce the household debt? Will rate cuts help? And what are other measures needed?
First of all, banks are intermediaries, and our job is to collect the liquidity in the system and reallocate to where it is needed, and make sure that the economic value is created through the process. So that's our job, right? So in the situation the industry have discussed, and we look at the principle that we think we should embark, and we look at the 5 key principles. First, it needs to be inclusive, and inclusive needs to be clear in the sense whether it is an attempt through the welfare approach, through the empathy approach, or through the profitability and market mechanism approach. We should not mix and make it not as clear as it should be. And the key is we are in the world of market mechanism and capitalism. So we must ensure that the reallocation of resources can be done properly and through banking system. Secondly, it should be on the fairness basis, right? On the rule around it and on the regulatory framework. Of course, now there's a lot of talk about whether it's the right pricing risk or whether it's an overly expensive risk. Then we should talk about the risk-based pricing, right? If you talk about the risk-based pricing, to what extent can it be risk-based? Can it be down to individual where somebody pay 80-90% interest rate, or it should be on a portfolio basis where it's peak at, let's say, 40 or 50%, or it should be capped at 5% or 10%, right? The number will depend on market mechanism. And it should be ensured that moral hazard will not be created as an unintended consequence. That's the second part. The third part is the level playing field. There should not be a structural issue where somebody who create the ladder debt get a seniority on that debt status than those who have been the creditor years prior to that, right? That regulatory impediments need to be readjusted. Also, the availability of the so-called formal, as what Dr. Chip has shown on the NCB, there are still a number of financial institutions or non-bank are not in the NCB system. How could they operate, right? If they are not in the system, are they arbitraging the structural regulatory issue, or are they competing on a fairness system? Or the regulatory structural issue has created an alternative way of serving the last mile that is not necessarily facilitate the fair allocation of the resources across the nations. And also, you talk about open competition. Do we have access to the data appropriated by all competitors? And all of them, do we have a newly challenging banks or challenger to provide the lending services compete on the same level playing field with the traditional financial institutions? And the last thing is it's got to be healthy borrowing. A lot of them has gone to the consumption, and has it gone enough to create the wealth to the family, to build their future career, to create the household-based business? Maybe it's not. And how can we facilitate that? That are the principles that the industry have agreed and look at. Then we recognize the challenge as well as the opportunity on the household debt situation. So we, in the process of collaborating with the recently launched You Fight, We Help program, we have come up with the 3 phases or 3-step recommendation. And this recommendation has been in coordination with the government, the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank, the Thai Bankers Association, and also the Federation Thai Industries and the Thai Chamber of Commerce. First, we recognize that we need what we call the first step support to the situation. That means it is the program that meant to be temporary on the U5 We Help. And it's meant to be a short-term program. It's not a sustainable program. Then what is next? We recognize that those household debt burden happen because of the gap in social safety net, right? You talk about if you are sick, if you have to be hospitalized, if your kids has to go to school, if your parents are old and need support, accident that you have gone in through, so on and so forth, right? So do we have adequate social safety net, or do we have a too fragmented social safety net at the moment, right? And that needs to be fixed. And we are glad to see that the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance has recently come out and say that the negative income tax will be imposed by 2027. So that means that it's less than 2 years from now. And that means that the second phase of the measures has been already announced by the Ministry of Finance with a clear timeline. So that means that it is coming. So what does that mean? That means that the system will have appropriate data of Thai population, right? You will have not only the debt situation, but you will have the income and the wealth side of the equation, and also the protection that they have. And if the country has that information, then the right decision can be made and it can be well targeted. Then the third measure, right, is you need to drive the income side of the equation. How can you do that? People need to have job that pays appropriately, and then the job that they work for can compete, can sell in the open market world. So how can that be happening? You need collaboration between the banking and the real sector, including Thai Chamber of Commerce and also Federation Thai Industries, as well as the right incentives from the government, whether it's soft loan, whether it's a tax relief, or whether tax benefit, you can name it. So one thing that I can share with in my view, an opportunistic window that is well coordinated between the government, the central bank, and the private sector, the three associations, on these three measures. And I'm happy to say that we are currently, and not yet announced, that we are working on the white paper on the back of what is happening on the reciprocal tariff, right? We think it is the moment of opportunity that we need to prioritize. And we know that the resources available in the public, not only on the lending capacity, but also on the public debt, that the government need to come in and play their part. So the collaboration between the three parties is being worked on, and the milestone is making good progress. And at the end of the day, lowering interest rate is just a temporary tool. And once it happens, then how can that support and incubate the economic growth engine in a sustainable way? So the second and the third measure will be critical. I would put the lower interest rate into the first measure. So that is a temporary, and it needs to come with the second and the third. And the second and the third is currently being worked on. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Dr. Rak.
Just like that, Kun Payong just mentioned, we have around 3,000 lenders, both banks, non-banks, and informal banks, or whatever you call the lenders. But we have only 86 AMC. So we have only 86 hospitals. So we have two solutions that we try to propose to the government right now. First, we expand the capacity of the hospital. How we expand the capacity of the existing 86 hospital? We need the soft loan. Instead of use the mechanism that we call soft loan to other programs, from the government. We need the soft loan to expand the capacity. And the maximum capacity that we can expand is around 3-fold. So 3 times that we can expand our existing capacity. And the other program that we might need is the relaxation of regulations. For example, like the new coding that we call 054 for the reperforming loan. And last but not least is we have to come up with another JV partnership program that we already done successfully with Ari and Arun. So that is the first bullet that we try to tackle the problem. The second one is like when you see all the newspaper are talking about the national AMC. My opinion is not about creating the new vehicle, but we can use existing vehicle. For example, RE AMC. We can use the RE AMC to absorb the household debt from the SFI. And also we have the multi-banks that can come up with the AMC. With 2-layer solution, we can tackle the 2 trillion, whatever you call. We have 1 trillion as the NPL, another 1 trillion is the special mention. And I think we have to go beyond the normal operation. We might need to work hand in hand with the banks so we can use our service and extend to the bank to tackle the special mention category. So that kind of preventive and also proactive action from the AMC population can help the banks, the lender, to address all the problems that we can see or foresee right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. To wrap up all the measures that the panelists has mentioned, with the policymakers are preparing several measures, and we are developing database and infrastructure for banks and especially AMC that are trying to resolve the legacy issues. Do you think that with these initiatives, it will improve the economic growth in the medium term and bring back the investment opportunity for investors in this room? Thank you. Let's start with Dr. Rungka.
Well, I would hope so. And yes, I think if we tackle it, Kun Payong was talking about our coordination, and trying to submit a white paper. And I think basically the white paper that he was mentioning tries to tackle the issue of coordination failure among parties, and I mean among sectors in Thailand. So I think that should help, and that should actually push us forward significantly if we can accomplish what is outlined in that white paper that he mentioned. Beyond that, I think there's still a lot of opportunity for people in this room and beyond. Just to mention things like what Dr. Laksamun was saying, I think she stopped short of saying that we need things like financial scores. We need things like fraud scores. Data can help that. A lot of people can do that. We even encourage scores to be floating around, even sold. You can make money that way also. And I think analytics, system networks, and things that support things like this would definitely have a lot of opportunity going forward in Thailand. And of course, we talked about things like wealth aggregator, income aggregator, to help people manage their financials better. I think that is still a huge step and huge opportunity for Thailand. And of course, the lending business itself. If we try to pull people into the formal sector, I think that's also means a lot of lending opportunity. Thank you.
Next to Kun Laksmon ka.
Well, our role as National Credit Bureau is easier than the others on this panel. Basically, we just have to provide quality data. We would like to have more data. We would like to have more detailed data so that we can provide support to all the policymakers, the industries, to solve the problem of household debt sustainably in the longer run. And we would also like to play a role of a financial health platform, perhaps, so that we can help identify opportunity as well as identify risk. We can help people to have better access. We can use our data. The more data we have, the more detailed data we have, we can provide data for policymaker and regulator to ensure that they are the lighthouse, as Kun Payong mentioned, to the economy. Thank you.
Thank you ค่ะ Up next คุณพยง please ค่ะ
Just to echo the collaboration between the government, the private sector, and the all citizens will be critical. We are, again, I would like to emphasize, we are in the market mechanism system, so we must respect the voice of the market. And the voice of the market will judge us based on whether we drive or address the situation in a rational way. So we must be very focused in supporting and enhancing the data-driven economy and also the skill-based and economic value created based economy. And when we talk about the data, it's not just about the NCB, it's all sides of the data that can be alternative to the typical traditional data to make the right decision and the intellectual decision. Then, if you look at the skill-based economy, we must heavily focus in uplifting the skillful workforce. And we have tremendous opportunity. Just a quick final data, we have 91% of the population have access to internet, but we only have 6% of the population engaged with ChatGPT. And this is statistic data. What does it mean? We have the right infrastructure, and we have huge opportunity to monetize the infrastructure that we have with the skillful workforce. And the last part is, I would say, this is the right window. You're talking about it can't be, I would say, on one hand, it's like a perfect storm, but on the other hand, I would like to say it's a perfect opportunity to make the right action and the right decision.
Thank you. Lastly, to Dr. Rakha.
I would like to close my session by saying that within 86 hospitals or 86 AMC, we have around 3,000 workforce. On the sunny day, the good banks can issue something like the automation system, credit scoring with good governance of the data, everything. You can do it by use the automation. But for the bad bank operation, we need individual, we need the doctor. So when the good banks see no use of your workforce, send them to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to our panelists for sharing your insight and expertise, and to our audience as well for joining us in this conversation today. I hope you found it informative hearing about the debt problem and the potential measures that could bring back the opportunity for our economy in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you very much all the panelists and moderator for the fruitful information. We hope that this session has provided you with a deeper insight and inspire conversation about how we can collectively create a more secure and sustainable financial future for Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, next we will have a lunch break for 1 hour. The buffet will be hosted at Salvia under residence on the mezzanine floor. Our staff will be available and happy to assist and guide you to the location. The afternoon session will return in this ballroom starting at 1 p.m. onwards. Private meeting at one-on-one floor will start at 1:30. So please enjoy your meal, and we look forward to welcoming you back for the engaging session in the afternoon. Thank you.